Hello. So we are top of three leagues. We are top of three leagues. It doesn't have the same ring to it, but we are. So we are the top of the WSL. Is it the Women's Super League? Yes, WSL. We're top of the Premier League, and I didn't realise, but we're top of the Europa League as well. Group, because I thought we'd only played 2 games. I thought we surely can't be top, but I looked and we are. So. Us and PSV, I think I can't even remember now. That's how much I care about it. I no idea.
It won't last.
I just saw us top. What are you on about? We'll finish top of the Europa League.
I meant more in the league.
I know what you meant. So we're back again quite soon after our last outing. That was a bit of a tricky one for me. And a quick run through then. I penned my starting 11. My starting 11, not the starting 11 I thought Arteta would pick against Bodø Glimt. And I picked a team where only Xhaka who started the game previously. So I was only 2 players out, Martinelli and Gabriel. But I thought Cedric was fit to start, and because he wasn't, I think that's what forced that particular move. But Martinelli, he
strikes me. He's just like the Duracell bunny. He'll just keep going and going and going.
And he created the opening goal, didn't he? Really, his kind of surging run. But so go on. I didn't see the first 30 minutes. You did.
Well, I missed the first sort of minute or two. And then, annoyingly, I was having problems with my TV signal. So actually, I missed the first goal live. And only switched back for the replay. And Tierney's rocket of a shot.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was absolute beauty. He's having a couple of pops.
I think he's fed up.
Do you think he gets a bit bored?
I think he's fed up. I think he's thinking that something's got to elevate him above Zinchenko.
So if he scores,
because Zinchenko hasn't scored. So if Tierney adds a goal to his game, then it might give Arteta pause for thought, perhaps. Although Zinchenko is, from what I've said, our only doubt for the Liverpool game, or new doubts for the Liverpool game, which does lead me to think that in Tierney and Zinchenko, we have one player.
Well, as long as they dovetail and do it at the same time, or
not get injured at the same time. Yes,
if they're not, as long as they avoid that, we're good. We've got a good fullback, but
we've got a fantastic player
at the same time. It will be Tomiyasu out of shape on the left.
And do you know what? There are worse scenarios than that even. So long as Ben White doesn't get injured, then we are down to Cedric at right back again.
See the doubts creeping in. A fixture against Liverpool is looming, and already the doubts are creeping in.
Yeah, I mean, having said that, right, I've just got the BBC open on my phone, and Chris Sutton has made a prediction. 4-1
to
Arsenal.
Oh, that's him. That's such a calculated thing to try and wind the Scousers up.
I haven't read
exactly what he's doing when he makes that prediction.
I haven't read who he's going up against in this week, but it's a guy called Ryan. I don't know if that's surname or first name. I don't know. Who says a 2-1 win? Let me see if I can find out.
To Arsenal.
Yeah.
See, this frightens me even more. This terrifies me. Everyone being confident that Arsenal will win is absolute nonsense. Because it's Liverpool. Salah loves scoring against us. We love giving away penalties against them. Jota has started becoming a bit of a nuisance against us. And they're just, we play fairly cavalier, so do they. There's going to be goals, and who knows what way it'll go. I'm not going to enjoy a minute of the game, I don't think, unless we're 3 or 4-0 up at some point, which was almost unthinkable. Well, it is unthinkable.
So he's going up against a guy called Ryan Porteous, and I'd never heard of him, but he plays for Hibs in Scotland. And he says Arsenal win 2-1, but then he also a bit further down says he's a Man United fan, so he's never going to back Liverpool, is he? So
There you go.
Okay, don't burst my bubble.
There's a weird acceptance that we play certain teams, and I did have that. I did have a bit more belief going into the United game, mainly because of where United had been.
Yeah, I didn't. I've got more confidence ahead of this game than I did against the United game.
Well, then all we've done is reverse positions, because I feel as
it's going to be the same outcome, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel as hopeful as you did for United as for Liverpool. So it is what it is.
I tell you, I just think we got closer to Liverpool and City last season when we played them at home. I think Liverpool, it was 0-0 at half time, wasn't it? And they scored 2 goals around about the 55, 60-minute mark. But we had
the City game, yes. But I feel the Liverpool games was a bit like when your dad lets you win at sport, but you didn't really win. Do you know what I mean? It's got that kind of hollow. Oh, we were close, and Liverpool are like, yeah, you weren't that.
I did read someone say today they'll only be happy about about Liverpool's attitude towards Arsenal when Klopp is slagging us off or being disrespectful. But at the moment, Arteta's doing really well, and so I think they're going to come down to us quite confident, I would have thought.
I suppose that was the thing about when Fergie had softened on Wenger. You knew the jig was up.
Yeah, there was no threat.
It was pity. That's what it was, and it was really sad.
Because we all knew it.
We
could all see it. We all felt it. It was, you wanted Fergie spitting venom at us, slagging us off in the press and complaining about God knows what.
Weirdly, and this probably says more about Mourinho, he never stopped.
He was obsessed. He was upset. He was upset because Wenger was never sacked. That was his issue.
And Wenger was liked.
And his Wenger's football was just far superior to Mourinho's, and all the money Mourinho's had at his disposal. I remember as Real Madrid manager, he'd set himself up against Barcelona without playing a striker, like 10 men behind the ball. I'm like, you manage Real Madrid. Barcelona's the only opposition where you have to actually be a bit brave, and he just refused to. Now, you can't argue with his actual success, but like with Conte at Spurs at the moment, there's a way. And when you've got that much, people always turn around to me and say, "Oh yeah, but George Graham's Arsenals were really boring 1-0." I said, "Yeah, but we didn't have any money. We maximised what we had, whereas Mourinho's had like open blank checkbooks, and he still played dour football. His first thought was not to concede, and that's and he couldn't cope with that, which is great.
But so as long as Klopp keeps doing that, I thought there might be a little bit more animosity between Klopp and Arteta after a couple of touchline spats.
Well, they certainly had a touchline spat in the game at Anfield last season, didn't they? But that I didn't watch. I feel a lot different about a home game against Liverpool than an away game. I still think we'll do very well not to lose the game on Sunday. But I don't fear. I don't. Up until this season, any game against Liverpool and Man City, all I've wanted to do is not be embarrassed.
Yeah.
That was my So 2-0 home to Liverpool last year. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. It's like that's terrible, isn't it? But now I'm like, well, this will be an interesting barometer for us.
In Arteta's time managing Arsenal, have we had any really embarrassing results?
I'm sure City.
We've had some surprising defeats, but I mean, I'm talking about a 5-0, 6-0.
City. I'm sure not 6, but I'm sure City have scored 5 against us.
Have they?
I'm sure Liverpool have as well.
Got red carded.
Yeah, that was last season. Yeah,
that was start of last season. So 5-0. The red card kind of, negates some of the embarrassment, but not a lot, I must admit. Yeah, but there was that period, wasn't there, towards the latter part of Wenger's career where we would go to a Big Six team and we could be 3 or 4 down in half an hour, and you really did fear every time that we went to one of their places. And right. I suppose there's that lingering in our mind.
But... Right. You've asked me the question.
Okay.
And so I found an article from April this year. So there's been no embarrassing defeat since April this year, other than Spurs and Newcastle. But that's not the kind of defeat you're talking about.
Let's not go over them.
6 times Arsenal lost heavily under Arteta. Right, let me see if it's just got it. Okay. 3-0 Man City away.
There's loads of 3-0s against Man City.
Oh, we lost 3-0 at home to Villa in November 2020. That was COVID, so it was lockdown. So I
Ollie Watkins, yeah.
So I don't remember that one. Right, we lost 4-1 at home to City in December of 2020.
Yeah.
3-0 away at Liverpool in April 21, and then Man City 5-0 in August. So August 21, Man City 5-0 at City Ground, and Liverpool away 4-0 November 21. And I think we started all right in that game, but again, once one goal goes in, that was the Arteta spat on the touchline with Klopp game. Yeah. So once 1-0 go, and I think in the documentary All or Nothing, they focused on his pre-match, and he was like, keep your heads, and he tells a story about when he was a player for Everton, he didn't keep his head and he lost the game, passed him by, and he's keep your head. And what does he do? Go and lose his head on the touchline.
Bloody head.
I didn't see that at the time, but I've seen it in the last day or two. He was probably jumping up and down, trying to I gotta get you, being held back by oh my word! I didn't realise it was quite so laughable, but it would be my response to it. So Bodø, Glimt, yeah,
great fans. It was a good game. They play very positively. They didn't do their typical thing where, a team from a not one of the big 5 leagues, sits deep. They played positively, and a little bit more quality. We could have perhaps been overloaded at various times, but what I was pleased with was, even though it was mostly a second team, it was the outlook and the way they went about things was exactly the same. Trying to win the ball back quickly, get the ball forward quickly, some good wing play. Marquinhos looks to the manner born. I can't believe he's only 19. He looks so strong and quick as well.
And Vieira had a very good first half, apparently, but
his touch and control is just awesome. He's just very neat, very tidy, like his goatee.
Make him look older.
Yeah, it does make him look older. He's got a touch of the Dr. Nick from The Simpsons about him a little bit to me, but other than that, great cross for
saw that
header. Yeah. Really good, really
good header as well.
Well, he's got all that hair now to cushion it in. So
this is true.
Yeah, there you go. From his Turkish barbers. Eddie took his rebound really well.
Yeah, so I didn't see the first half at all. So what you've just said about how Bodø played, I saw more of that because I thought they were like 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes spell in the second half where they were the better team.
Oh,
But
great.
a lot of that could be to do with like, well, we're 2-0 up, we're sitting back, we don't need to. But we kind of didn't have any control in the game, and it was at that point I think he brought on Jesus and Saka and Ødegaard, and because
And
a
it just
goal,
switched.
it almost instantly. It was almost instant.
Oh, it was crazy.
But it was like a goal for Bodø then might have just made it a bit more uncomfortable. But what was pleasing for me was that none of our first 11 played 90 minutes. Gabriel did Gabriel come off?
I don't remember him doing.
No, so he must have played he's the only one who played the 90 minutes. Because Xhaka came off and Martinelli came off for sure.
Xhaka's yellow card.
I haven't seen it, but I heard it was a ridiculous yellow card.
It had suspicious Asian betting market written all over it.
Okay. I heard it was laughable.
He just grabs the ball. I'm thinking he's never fouled, and then just grabs the ball, and I just went, oh. There'll be an investigation into that. One would assume.
The least said about that, the better. I know we've slagged off VAR and referees repeatedly. It feels on this podcast. However, I did watch. Did you watch the women's football match, the USA against England?
What the referee gave?
Well, there were two. I mean, it was on in the background, and I interrupted a conversation because I was just watching. First of all, it was the two incidents. It wasn't the handball one, which is insane. It was I just out loud. I mean, I had the thing on mute. I had the game on mute, and I said out loud, like it's like I had Tourette's. Out loud, I went, "You kicked her in the face!" Like I just.
I didn't see that. I only saw
this
the
is in the
penalty
first. This is the England. This is what actually ended up as an England penalty. I was like, and the referee was. Well, she was an awful referee. She was about 10 foot away, staring straight at it. And I genuinely thought she was just playing the advantage to see what would happen and she'd call it back. No. I'm like, she just kicked her in the face.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. I didn't it was as animated as I've been like for 2 days. And then, but I didn't take it off mute. And then I noticed that about 30 seconds, a minute later, the play had stopped and the camera was focusing on the referee in the middle and there was nothing happening. So then I took it off mute. And then it was like, oh, maybe the commentators were like, this may be to do with the incident with Lucy Bronze or I think they're saying that. And then they went back and I'm like, and then they showed it and they're like, she kicks her in the face. And if it was in the penalty area, I hadn't realised it was in the penalty area because she fell like outside of the penalty area, but I'm like, so that was a penalty, well taken. And then the one you're talking about, the USA penalty that was awarded, I'm like, but what was confusing is that the American players appealed for it. So I thought, did I miss that completely? Like I'm like, that's hit her on the. All I said is I was like this Tourette's moment. It's hit her on the back. I didn't realize actually hit her on the. I didn't realize that at the time, but in the replay, and then I saw the referee. Then was like, she points at a spot. I'm like, it's hit her in the back. What's she doing?
It's crazy.
So VAR actually did its job.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, yeah, but I would have more questions about how the ref is missing.
Oh no, for sure. But in the world of VAR, that's what it's there for. Because if you take VAR out of that game, England don't have the 2-1 lead, and America have just scored won a penalty in the however late into the game to go 2-1 up to win the game. So that it completely flips the result on its head. So I just thought I thought we had to. Because to be fair, I was going to struggle to fill 30 minutes. I thought, well, we can talk about that. We can talk about VAR in a positive, while skirting over the ineptitude of another referee. But
one hopes, if we lose to Liverpool, we lose to Liverpool. But actually, I don't remember many of our games against Liverpool having too much controversy.
No, because they're always too far ahead. As in goals in the game, it's like
because even the City game last year, wasn't there? There was
Well, the
arguments
penalty.
about
Well, the
red
Erdegaard.
card,
The
penalty.
Erdegaard penalty. I mean, I still blame Erdegaard for that. He went down like he should have gone down like properly when the contact was made, but he kind of and it was a nailed on penalty. If the referee had given the penalty, it would have no way it would ever have been overturned. But it wasn't deemed to be a clear and obvious error. And then the Gabriel sending off, which was a second yellow card. He had one of his like rushes of blood, but it was the Martinelli miss in the 10 seconds prior to the Gabriel sending off. That was the game. I always point back to moments where even though you're not losing, something happens in the game and you think, fuck it, we're going to lose. And it was in 2006, the Champions League final in Paris. Henry, clear through on goal. We'd been down to 10 men for an hour. Clear through on goal, 1-0 up, 75th minute, 76th minute, 1-on-1 with the keeper. He scores. I think we do enough. We've got enough to hold out. But he missed, and every single fan near me had that same reaction. Just that sinking back into the seats. We're going to lose. Not that we're going to draw or hold on for penalties or anything. No, we're going to lose. That was it. The game was gone in that second. And that was the Martinelli miss. I mean, it was an open goal. It was like, and that got in. I don't know, what was the score at the time? Was it 1-1? They just got it back to 1-1 or something.
They scored the winner late, really.
Yeah,
late.
Rodri, wasn't it? Very late.
However, on the flip side of that, I still feel like that game was what ignited
the
fan base, because there was the sense of injustice, but there was also the pride with how well we'd played.
We were the better team.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And Man City won the league.
I think there was a big realization that there was something coming together. No one could quite predict how it would go, and there were still obviously huge bumps in the road. But there was glimpses of where we might be heading.
Let me ask you a question. Who would you rather be facing on Sunday? Man City at the Emirates or Liverpool at the Emirates?
Oh, well, Liverpool all day, yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious because I'm
would
50...
like us to avoid Man City for as long as humanly possible.
Until Haaland is injured.
Until Haaland is either injured or, I mean, I can't even think what might need to happen to him. Maybe the rest of his race from the alien planet that he is obviously from come and invade.
They want him back.
Join him or want him back. Yeah, exactly. Until those sorts of things happen, it just needs to just like keep away from the Emirates.
See, I'm funny. I'm because I just think because of last year, I think we get closer to City.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when the game against City is.
Well, it was going to be in a couple of weeks' time, wasn't it? The PSV week. So
we don't know. We might not even play that. Well, we probably won't play them now before the World Cup.
No, it's after the it's.
So we're going to have two Man City games.
Yeah.
Post World Cup, post Christmas.
And I'm assuming Norway aren't at the World Cup, but they might well be. I don't know. Are they?
I didn't think they were. No.
So Haaland's going to be well rested. So is Erdegaard.
So is Smith Rowe.
Yeah. Well, he's our top scorer last year, wasn't he? So
yeah,
we're missing our top scorer from last year.
Yeah. I think that's more of a damning indictment of how last year went, isn't it?
Yeah, he got to double. He did. He got to double figures. He got to 10 or 11 league goals. So for him, that's brilliant. Like that's exactly. He had exactly the season he needed to have. But injuries do tend to follow him around a little bit, unfortunately, at the moment. In the
presumably he's cover for Martinelli when he's back and fit. Because Vieira and Odegaard couldn't. Yeah,
well, Martinelli would never have played as many minutes as he has done had Smith Rowe been fit. So, but Martinelli, luckily, touch wood, doesn't seem to have muscle issues because his game is one which you would imagine he might that kind of playing at that speed you tend to find that those like Overmars in that same position, he would often go down with the occasional muscle injury. He came to us with a bad injury, or he just had a bad injury when he came to us from memory. But it's like it was very much as you were watching the result. There was no drama in the game. We've played 3 games now since we lost, and we've scored 3 goals in each of those games and conceded 1. So, I'd settle for that on Sunday.
Oh, it'd be lovely. But I just can't get too excited. I just don't know. Again, it's going to be a good day. Looking forward to the atmosphere. There will be a bit of the unknown because, Liverpool have been, they've not been flawless as they have been in the last couple of years.
I'm really curious to know what he does tactically, Klopp, because he changed his tactics against Rangers, and I'm pretty sure that was with a nod to our game. And I just hope then that Arteta doesn't start overthinking or second guessing. I think, he's really got to just go with it, basically set up as he did against Spurs. I think.
Well, the difference is now that we've got Gabriel Jesus up front, pestering and pressed him from the front in such a way that, why would you sort of alter from that? That will disrupt the majority of teams. I suppose it's just how much license, he gives maybe the fullbacks or midfield. Will he want Xhaka to be a little bit more reserved than he has been of late? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can't point to any Liverpool player and saying they're playing really well at the moment. And that's their key players like Van Dijk and Salah. They're not. Darwin Núñez, has he scored? I mean, he's going to score against us, obviously, but has he scored? Has he scored since he's got back from his suspension? I don't think he has.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. Obviously, Diogo Jota, he will definitely start. But again, like if he starts, then he's going to start Salah. He's going to start Núñez. Who plays in their midfield? Thiago.
Well, frustratingly, yeah. When the results were a bit of a haphazard, they played Brighton last week, and everyone's talking about that. But I think that's underestimating how good Brighton actually are. But Thiago and Fabinho are back now, and a bit more consistent and obvious quality in their midfield. And then what the media and the press will be talking about is Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Well, yeah, Martinelli. That's a nice, tasty matchup. That is.
What a matchup that is! Defensively, Alexander-Arnold will have some work to do. But actually, do you know what? Defensively, so will Martinelli.
Well, it depends. It depends. That's where the control in midfield is crucial because if Trent Alexander plays his natural game, Martinelli's going to have the freedom of the Emirates down that left-hand side. And Van Dijk doesn't seem that much too interested in like traveling across his back line, at any great pace at the moment. He's like quite casual in his defending, but he always was like that. But it was all right when he was never ruffled. But I think because it's a 4:30 kickoff, it's the closest we've got to Fulham at home from before in terms of kickoff time. I think it could be a proper tasty atmosphere again outside Block 6 in the concourse area. I think, I'm aiming to get into the ground about an hour before kickoff again.
I don't know when I'll actually be arriving in because there's some other bits going on around the game for our supporters club. So I'll have to keep you posted on that one.
Cool. Well, look, I said we'd get under 30 minutes and look at this, 29, 35. So we'll call that. We're not too confident, I think, although personally, I have more hope than any previous Liverpool game that I can remember, like in recent times. And I've certainly got more. I'm a lot calmer I think I'm a lot calmer because I didn't expect us to get a point out of City and Liverpool before the season started.
Yeah.
So this is a free hit almost. But that's the psyche I had entering into the season. The way Liverpool's form, more so than us, but the way Liverpool's form has kind of fluctuated, gives me a little bit of hope. But you just know that if you're Liverpool, you're Klopp. You just say to them, like, everyone is expecting us to lose this game. Arsenal are favourites with the bookies for the first time in like 8 years. Are you going to have this? Literally, that is going to be the team talk. And it's like, well, they'll be 2-0 up in 25 minutes again, won't they? Salah back to his best.
Yeah.
At least Mane can't elbow someone and win a penalty and score a goal, you know. So there is that. But anyway, I think we'll revisit this podcast on probably Monday night, and
and we'll
see. Will you be looking at a top of the table position for your birthday? That is the question.
My birthday. Come on.
Right. On that bombshell, let's call it a night. And right. Nice one. Catch you later. Go on the arse.
Cheerio.